nolapublicschools.com/K20 to view the tool and learn more.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Philadelphia City Workers' Strike is over. Union leaders and the city agreed to a 9% raise over 3 years. Black District Council 33 President Greg Boulware had a message for workers.
The union stood up and fought for you, and we did the best we could with the circumstances we had in front of us.
City services have resumed. Queens Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani made history in New York City's mayoral primary, earning over 565,000 votes, the most ever. He beat Andrew Cuomo by 13 points and called the win a mandate for progressive change, including rent freezes and free transit. And reality TV star and dentist Dr. Heavenly Kimes is running for Georgia's House District 93. Known from Married to Medicine, she's focused on healthcare, education, and police reform. She launched her campaign July 8th at the state capitol. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
New Orleans, wake up. It is qualifying day. It is qualifying day. Happy Tuesday, New Orleans. Is it Tuesday?
No, it's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Wake up,
Happy Thursday. Listen,
wake up.
Because listen, I just read something that took my whole thinking capacity away from me at the moment.
We're going to have to reel you in,
and
bring you back.
I'm going to share it with you in a moment. And if the rock hits you, just consider yourself hit. The phone lines are 504-582-9422. It is the second day of qualifying. Happy qualifying day, y'all. We got one more day, and the list has grown exponentially. And I'm certain that Will has access to the list. I'll give you a moment, Will, to find it. I'm gonna give you a moment to find it. But it is the second day of qualifying. I'm excited. I know you should be excited. And we're going to hear from the Honorable Darren Lombard at the 8 o'clock hour, twice during the 8 o'clock hour, so he can give us the updates live as they come in. But I just want to talk about, let me know when you're ready, Will, with the list. I wanna talk about something because the conversations, I told you I watch the news so you don't have to, and I listen to social media because most of our WBOK listening audience, they are not on TikTok and Instagram and, listening to all of the things. And so that's where I am, and I'm going to bring it to you live and in color. So I want to ask this question because I asked the question of you yesterday. Well, I asked two questions, and one of them was, does it matter where you get your money from? And we had that conversation on yesterday, but today, because of a particular candidate, the question is, what makes a good candidate? How does a candidate, how is he supposed to appear? What is he supposed to look like? Because what I'm going to tell you right now is y'all could keep on being fooled by the polished, acting as if being polished is the only prerequisite to being a candidate for the people. And I take personal offense sometimes because that's how we get swindled a lot. Because they come to you in them nice Tom Ford suits. Yeah, Tom Ford because they could afford it. Because they're grifting you. They could afford Tom Ford. You can't. You can't even afford Tom Ford cologne, let alone a suit. So let's be very clear. They come to you wrapped in that Tom Ford or that Chanel, and you think because they got that scarf thrown around their shoulder and they're speaking the king's English, that they're the best person for you. That's what you think. But you could put lipstick on a pig and you could still fry like bacon. So let's be very clear here. And I'm talking about this because I saw Belden Noonan Baptiste's video as he was second line into the polls yesterday going to qualify, and I saw a lot of y'all had a whole lot to say. I ain't tell you nothing on your page because I don't argue with the peanut gallery, but I got a mic and I'm going to share my thoughts on it. Because I want to understand, I thought second line was cultural in New Orleans. Is it not, Will Sutton?
Absolutely.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, but y'all throwing rocks because he's second line to qualifying. They have whole second line to the poll initiative, so I'm trying to understand why you mad. And he had a nice suit on. Why you mad? I don't understand. So what you got to get out your nice black SUV and be escorted in there by entourage of people. What you want? Rose petals thrown on the ground like Prince Hakeem? What do you want? Because what makes a good I don't understand. Does he understand what it takes to represent constituents? Does he understand the way a city government is set up and run? Is he connected to the streets? Is he talking to the community? Is he aware of the issues? Can he fight for your rights? I'm not understanding what you want because he's second line. You mad? Huh? I probably will try to get you to understand that them people pulling up in them $300,000 cars and you barely could get bread and eggs at the same time, but you ain't mad at them though. But you mad because this man walked through the streets with a second line band, and I thought second line was naturally New Orleans. That's y'all problem. Y'all don't know what the culture is. Y'all don't know what's sacred. Y'all don't know what New Orleans is because y'all around here let people call it NOLA. Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I was in my bag right quick.
Oh, no, I know.
Because I
know.
want to understand this.
You
Y'all
do.
ain't mad about the people who take the money to sell you out, but you mad because that man took a second line band to the polls and he trying to represent you in a district where he know what the issues are. He know the people to go to get the issues fixed. He know how to fight for you. I'm just confused. And I'm up. I'm woke.
All right.
Let's talk
All
about
right.
it.
All right.
So we
Okay.
gonna bring you the updated list on the candidates, courtesy of NOLA.com's own Will Sutton.
Yeah.
You saw how I did your intro? I could
Yeah,
be
right.
woman.
and for clarification, NOLA.com, my colleagues do have a list there, but I'm using the official list.
Yes,
The official list.
because that's what
for this.
NABJ journalists
You
do,
know,
right?
so so for the office of sheriff, we have Ernest Lee Sr.
Wait, we got another.
as
Wait.
a I knew that would take you
Go
off. No, this is real.
Go.
This is real.
All right, hold on.
The brother is a Republican from the West Bank, and he's filed to replace incumbent Sheriff Susan Hudson. We have Edwin Mark Shorty Jr., who has filed, and he's been out there campaigning. We have Michelle Woodfork, who has been out there campaigning, and she, like Shorty, is a Democrat, and most of these people are Democrats. And she has filed for the office of sheriff. Not on the list, but as reported yesterday afternoon by your very own Will Sutton, Susan Hudson is back in the race.
I mean, she was
and
never out of the race. She just suspended her campaign, right?
Right. So,
yeah.
and that's the point that I want to make. But
Yeah.
I'm pausing here
Mhm.
because when a candidate suspends, they're giving themselves the option of slowing down, bowing out, or jumping back in. So there were a lot of people who said it's over, it's done, and that is the traditional thinking based on a suspension.
Mm.
And I talked to the sheriff yesterday, and she said, I never intended not to return to campaigning. I wanted to focus on these larger issues, including the jailbreak, the plumbing, and so forth. And if you want to see that, I wrote about that. It's on NOLA.com. But let's get back to the list. Okay, for clerk, we've got Chelsea Richard Napoleon, re-election. Darren Lombard for clerk of Criminal District Court. We have, let me flip the page here. Matthew Willard for City Council at Large. We have Gregory Manning for Council at Large Division 2, Willard's for 1. And we have the incumbent on 2 at large, J.P. Morrell.
What list are you looking at, Will? Because I see.
It's not online.
I know, but I'm looking at, there's Valencia Miles. She's also vying for the clerk of Criminal District Court. She's listed right under the Honorable Darren Lombard. Do you see her?
Okay, I do not.
Yeah.
No, this is from the
Yeah,
registrar's office.
And I'm looking at the voter poll. And
Okay, all right. So
it
back me up.
Yeah, it says Darren Lombard, Clerk of Criminal District Court, Valencia Miles. He has no party, black female.
Okay.
And she filed July the 9th, 2025.
Okay, that's yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. And Council District A is Holly Friedman and Amy McCarran. And we also have for mayor, Helena Moreno.
Can I pause you right there
Yep.
too? Robert Bob Morrell is also running for Council District A. He also filed July 9th, no party, white male.
Okay, right. For mayor, Helena Moreno, we have Tyrell Morris. We have Oliver Thomas. We have Ricky Twiggs for council member at large Division 1, Delisha Boyd. Matthew Matt Hill, Hispanic Republican.
Where? Under where? Mayor?
No,
He's
at large.
Okay.
At
Okay.
large.
So we also have Frank Robert Janusa, Republican white male under the mayor. He filed July 9th, 2025.
I've got
So that's
Valencia Miles under the at large.
Now this is
What are you
weird.
seeing?
Valencia is I'm under the voter portal, Secretary of State, Louisiana.gov, and she's
All right.
she's listed under the criminal court district
Okay.
court
All
under
right,
Darren
good,
Lombard.
Good. Okay. All right. Assessor, one candidate, the incumbent, Errol Williams. Coroner, the incumbent, Dwight McKenna. For mayor, Renetta Collins. Arthur Hunter. Frank Robert Janusa, white Republican male. We also have Robert Bob Miro. You see that
Yeah,
on your list?
yeah, but
okay.
but I think your list is just listed with my list is listed by the actual office.
Okay.
So that's why. See, if you want to slide over here and
Yeah.
see, because I don't want to touch the screen, but if you
Okay.
is listed by office,
Yeah. This
so
is,
it'd be
this,
easier.
This is the paperwork from the office.
Yeah.
Over there.
See, look. So
So this is you're looking at the online. So I'm looking
Yep.
at the paperwork that they
yeah.
prepared. So District B, Leslie Harris. District C, Kelsey Foster. Jackson Kimbrough, white no party. Freddie King III. Council District D, Deldon Nooniman Batiste. And Eugene Green, the incumbent.
And Leilani Heno.
And yeah, that's next.
Mm-hmm.
Leilani Hano, Black No Party. And then for District E, Danielle Christmas, Jason Hughes, John Johnson, and he was former council member. Some folks might not remember because this was a long time ago, like 2010 council member. Willie Morgan, Cindy Wren, Jonathan Anthony Roberts. Now, that's what I have from the paperwork from the office, and you found a couple of others.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the list. I don't know who you missed, so I'm gonna go straight down by office, and it says Sheriff Ernesio J. Ernest Lee Sr., Edwin Mark Shorty Jr., Michelle Woodfork. They all qualified July 9th. For the office of Civil District Clerk, Chelsea Richard Napoleon. As it stands now, there are no challengers who have qualified as of this moment. For the Clerk of Criminal District Court, the Honorable Darren Lombard and the challenger Valencia Miles. They both qualified on July 9th. Assessor Errol G. Williams. As of this moment, there are no challenges to that office, as well as Coroner Dwight McKenna. No challenges as of this moment. For the office of Mayor, we have Renata Collins, Arthur Hunter, Frank Robert Janusa, Helena Moreno, Tyrell Morris, Oliver Thomas, and Ricky Twiggs. All qualified July 9th. Council member at large Division 1, Delisha Boyd, Matt Hill, and Matthew Willard. All qualified July 9th. Council member at large Division 2, Gregory Manning and J.P. Morrell. Council member District A, Holly Friedman, Amy McCarron, Robert Bob Morrell. And we need to note that that's the open seat.
Yes.
That's the open seat from
Being
current
vacated.
council member Josie Russo. Council member District B, Leslie Harris. As of this moment, there are no challengers to the District B seat. Council member District C, Kelsey Foster, Jackson Kimbrough, and the incumbent Freddie King III. Council member District D, Belden Uniman Baptiste, the incumbent Eugene Green, and challenger Leilani Heno. Council member District E, Danielle Christmas, Jason Hughes, John D. Johnson, Willie Morgan, Cindy Wynn, and Jonathan Anthony Roberts. That is also an open seat currently now held by Council member Oliver Thomas, who is running for the mayoral seat. That is the complete list as of 7/16 on Thursday. It's not Tuesday, Dr. White. It is Thursday, second day of qualifying. We have one more day of qualifying, but I want to go back because we have a few minutes about
we
the
have today
conversation.
and tomorrow. You mean
We have
beyond
the rest of today and
then
tomorrow is the last day
Yes.
to qualify. So we have one more day of qualifying. This list will undoubtedly grow as time goes on today, and we will hear directly from our current clerk, the Honorable Darren Lombard. He's going to give us updates as they happen. But we have a couple minutes, and I just want to talk about this idea of what should a candidate look like, because there's some conversations around appearance. You know, how do you look? How do you present yourself? And I just want to know, like, does it matter more that your person looks the part while they do damage to your community, or that they look different than what you imagine, but they're doing work on behalf of the community? I think that's a question. What do you think, Will? Does it matter that we put the whole pot together? Does it matter?
Well, I think candidates should be diverse. I'd rather not have candidates who all look alike, talk alike, think alike. I'd like to have some choices.
Yeah, but
based on what
I'm talking specific to this idea of being, I don't even know how to say this, and like,
well, let's work at it.
Looking the part, because I don't know what certain people's issues are with. I'm telling you, when I was reading the comments, they were literally saying some of the most derogatory things because he's second line to the qualifying.
Well, actually,
builder.
that's where that's part of where I was. That's part of where I was headed.
Crazy.
That's part of where I was headed with this, because I want to hear some different viewpoints. I want to see some people from some different backgrounds. I want to see what you think you have done. And yes, I'm going to look at you. So in some cases, I can support, based on other issues, a person with wingtip shoes, starch white shirt, and a top hat.
Ain't nobody using starch no more.
I know.
Will. I'm sorry. It ain't happening.
It's still in the dollar store. It's still in the dollar store. I saw it the other day.
My Uncle Pash used to stand up by himself, but ain't nobody doing that no more.
So I can do that. And I can also support a brother in a dashiki who never wears a tie.
Okay.
I mean, and in terms of kind of the look. So in terms of the look, part of it is, okay, how do you look? How does that feel to me? But more important, what's behind the look? What's behind the look and how you package yourself or being packaged? And I want you to be authentic.
I mean, listen, I really want to have this conversation, and I want to open the phone lines 504-582-9422, because I think that's a lot of the times how we get hoodwinked and bamboozled, because we think who sets the tone or the threshold for decorum, like what's politically correct, who sets that, who's deciding what a candidate should look like, how they should appear, how they should speak, like who's doing that? Because I've yet to see a candidate that has, that's not quite all the way polished, get an opportunity to even represent any office in the city of New Orleans. But I've seen a whole lot of well-dressed grifters.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a whole lot of well-spoken grifters.
I've seen grifters
right?
in
I've
sneaks
seen,
and jeans too.
I've seen. I mean, I'm just saying. Not representing the city of New Orleans. I have not seen it. Like I've not seen anybody in office that looks like the regular neighborhood, hero representing constituents, and I've not seen it. Because what I do know is those people.
We'll talk off air.
Hey, let's talk off air. I mean, or we could talk on air because look,
No.
I stand on my opinion, right? And
No.
I've not
That's your-
seen it. And my thing is maybe we need to do what we've never done to get what we've never had. Because I've seen this movie already. I've even had people come to me and say, Doc, you say all the right things, but it's just the way you say it. You know what I mean?
Just the way you say
and
it.
then I have to remind them that
But they're saying you're right.
that they said I've had
How do they want you to say it?
I've had
How do they want you to say it if it's right?
listen to me. I've had a multitude of people, and see, I know they probably sitting on the edge of their seat because they know I probably say their name, but a multitude of people who some of them are currently running for office right now tell me, Doc, you're absolutely correct, but can we just figure out another way to say it? And here was my my response. Will, I said, well, they got people putting their foot up out behind with no Vaseline, and I'm certainly that's more uncomfortable than the words that are coming out of my mouth. But you tell me. That was my producer saying, I got
Okay,
you, Doc.
all
I ain't
right.
gonna let you get fined.
We gotta watch those FCC lines.
We gotta. Y'all know it is always
Hot up
good
in here.
on Thursday.
You awake
'cause
now,
it is
aren't you?
Congressman Troy Carter. Thursdays here on WBOK, and I'm excited to hear from our congressman because we in the neck of the woods as it relates to the hypocrisy of this administration. We'll hear about that and a whole lot more. Stay with us right here, WBOK 1238, and what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. New Orleans police say a man was shot in the CBD on the edge of the French Quarter. It happened just after 1 a.m. at the intersection of Dauphine and Canal Streets. We're told the victim was taken to a local hospital. Right now, there's no word on his condition or if police have a suspect in custody. The NOPD is also investigating after a man was shot in New Orleans East Thursday afternoon and died overnight. We're told that shooting happened along Trappier Avenue near Hain Boulevard. That was around 4:15 p.m. Then things could get heated at a city council meeting today as members look to override two recent moves by New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. One deals with how money is spent through the Wisner Fund, which could impact the Charity Hospital Revitalization Project. The other deals with a change in trash contracts impacting services in the French Quarter and downtown. The council will meet at 10 a.m. inside council chambers. And finally, a heads up for streetcar riders. The Rampart streetcar line is currently out of service and will remain so until at least August 1st. That's as the Sewerage and Water Board performs construction work in the area. Riders are encouraged to use the number 8 St. Claude Araby bus or the number 55 Elysian Fields bus as alternates. And that's a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Historically black colleges and universities are responsible for a lot of black professionals across industries. For example, the United Negro College Fund says that HBCUs produce around 70% of all black doctors. Data like that backs up Marcus Shaw's belief that HBCUs are key to elevating young black people into high-paying jobs. His organization, Alt Finance, focuses on sending young black talent to Wall Street. One roadblock in that pathway? Shaw says it just comes down to awareness.
For many of our students, they don't have a lot of transparency or a lot of clarity around what a career in alternative investments would look like. And so creating that exposure and some of that co-education around how to manage a career, moving from banking to private equity, is something that's very new to students.
Marcus Shaw's Alt Finance is one organization looking to clear the pathway for success for young black people. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, faucets, vanities, doors, and more. Shop our exclusive deals happening in-store and online now through July 18th. Not a member? Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free today and get ready to save more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
New Orleans, are you ready for a voice that says what you're thinking? Who that, you might ask? Arrington Gavin. That's right, I'm your guy, host of The Arrington Gavin Show, giving you so much filled with bold opinions, real conversations, and zero sugarcoating. We're going to be diving into the issues that matter, politics, pop culture, and all the above, unfiltered and unafraid. Catch The Arrington Gavin Show weeknights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Fridays, right here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
Welcome to Chemical of the Month by the community scientists at Rise St. James. This month, we spotlight phthalates, chemicals added to plastics, especially PVC, to make them more flexible and durable. But there's more. Research shows phthalates may disrupt hormones, affect reproductive health, and contribute to environmental pollution impacting our communities. Join us as we explore how these additives shape our everyday lives and the world around us. For more details, visit risestjames.org. Empower your knowledge with Rise.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning. Wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Show. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy second day of qualifying as well. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta White. Shout out to our intern, our little baby intern, holding the boards down, keeping us right and tight here at the station, and my co-host, Will Sutton. We're getting ready to jump into conversation with our congressman, the one and only Troy Carter. I think there's so much to talk about. One of the things that I'm hoping I can talk to our councilman about is this idea of this delayed response that happened. Will, did you hear about that in Texas?
Yes.
The folk in Texas did not receive immediate assistance, and they're now saying at least 59 adults and 36 children have been confirmed dead because Kristi Noem reportedly did not authorize FEMA search and rescue teams until 72 hours after the Texas deadly floods. And it is so crazy because there's a woman that is going viral right now. She is a Trump supporter. She is, she voted for him, and she's made video after video of disparaging immigrants, right? And talking about they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, leave the country. She's tired of paying for them. No, we're not helping you do this. And now she's crying
see that.
And now she's crying for help because where she lives, the help never came. And she's saying the words, we're human beings. Why are you not coming to help us? And I just want to know if those words resonated with her, because immigrants are also human beings. And you were talking about feeding them to alligators on several of your videos. And now
not the same person.
The people you voted for
no
are
way
not
it's
coming.
the same person.
It's the same person.
No
I'll show you
way.
videos. Yes. But we have our esteemed congressman on the phone lines with us. We need to welcome him back to the Good Morning Show. Good morning, Congressman. It is so great to have you this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Great to be with you guys this morning.
How you doing?
Good morning.
Doing fantastic.
Your voice sounds
we got a lot
better.
of work to do, but the good Lord is able.
Yeah, your voice sounds better. The last time we were talking, you sound like you needed to rest your voice, so you sound better. That's a good thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and so I know a lot is going on. Right before we brought you into the conversation, we were talking about the devastation that is happening in Texas with the floods and the lack of governmental response. There are a multitude of people who have been confirmed dead. Can you talk to us briefly about how the Big Ugly Bill is affecting what is going on right now in Texas?
Well, you can't make this stuff up, right?
Yes.
When you talk about a president who says he wants to get rid of FEMA, who has ordered removing half of the satellites that are in the atmosphere that allows us to predict storms, to lay off people in the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association, NOAA. You have to wonder, what are you doing, man? What are you doing when you're taking away the things that give us the opportunity to predict storms, to determine when they're coming, where they're coming from, early warning systems to allow people to move? You have to know that this is only going to get worse. I wrote a letter that I think I sent you guys a copy. I wrote a letter to the president and to Secretary Noem, asking them to reconsider these ill thought out policy changes, because to get rid of FEMA, or to, as he said, get rid of FEMA, punt it to the states, and give the states less money. Now, help me understand how that makes any sense. I'm hopeful that this horrific tragedy, and our hearts and prayers go out to the victims, survivors, and the people of Texas who are going through this senseless loss of lives. These 100+ people that have lost their lives, and the number continues to grow. Unfortunately, we're going to see more of this as these policies start to bake in, as these reversals of common sense good practices start to bake in. We're going to start to see more devastation, as with this Big Ugly Bill, 17 million people being taken off the rolls of Medicaid. The residual effect, the domino effect of what that will mean to people is immeasurable. When you start closing rural hospitals and people can't get to a hospital for services, or you stop allowing people to have access to Medicaid, so now instead of catching an illness early, they're going to inundate the emergency rooms and put a strain on the entire system. This is going to impact not only the people on Medicaid, it's going to impact people that have Medicare. It's going to impact the people who have company-driven or private insurance, because the system is going to be strained. Hospitals are going to have to lay people off. The ripple effect is far deeper than I think even most people know, and unfortunately, it appears that the leadership of the Republican Party simply doesn't care. What they cared about more than anything was to provide tax cuts to the richest rich, and to do it on the backs of the poorest poor.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about that, because as we they said the death toll rises to 120, including children. There are children who died in these floods, and they are directly blaming Kristi Noem's leadership in her delay in responding to send help for those people. And the thing that I know you're aware of, Congressman, is that the very people who this administration has been lambasting about are the very people who came to help, which is Mexico. Mm-hmm. Mexico sent folk to help in Texas. And, we're grateful for your leadership. Not every state has a congressman that's up there fighting for the right thing for all people. There are Congress people who are up there in lockstep with this president and his policies to the detriment of their own constituents. And that is the scariest part about all of this for us.
And I'll tell you, Dr. Wyatt, you said a mouthful, because many of those people, many of our Republican colleagues who voted for this bill in private settings, scratched their heads, wrung their hands, were frustrated, and knew it was bad.
Yeah.
They said, I can't believe I can't vote for this. This is gonna hurt my people. But if I don't, he's gonna come and run against me, put somebody to run against me. Said,
Yeah.
Wait a minute, man. Did you get elected to get reelected, or did you get elected to serve the people? Do the right thing, and if you lose doing the right thing, who cares? But they don't have that gene. You know, they love their power more than they love the people. And if you can admit to me in a private setting, you know this is wrong, yet when the time to vote, you hold your nose and you vote for something that you know is going to hurt your people, then you don't deserve to hold office.
And that is absolutely the sentiment that we hold here. And I know the tone, every time I talk to you, the tone gets so serious because the issues are so serious. And again, we have, in the state of Louisiana, we have you fighting for us up there. And then these folk are just acquiescing to him to the detriment of their own constituents. And I don't know how they can go back to their home states and look those people in the eye and say they voted for this because it was the right thing to do. Some of them are even avoiding going to their home states to talk to their constituents because of the way they're voting in Washington. And
Mitch McConnell said, and I quote, "They'll get over it." Can you believe a United States senator says to the people of Kentucky, his home state, they'll get over it?
I mean, that's scary. And just to talk about the things that they vote for that do harm to their folk, to their own people. It is my understanding that you are spearheading a town hall where they're going to be talking about the Republican attacks on America's health care. Can you talk to us about that? I'm excited to hear about it because, as I said, you're always available to your constituents. You're always available to bring the information. And that's because when you go to Washington, you're doing the job for all people, not just the people who voted for you, not just Democrats. You're working on behalf of all of your constituents. So can you talk to us about the town hall that is taking place?
Yes. Thank you very much. We are going to have, as you know, I've had a series of town halls throughout the state talking about the big ugly bill, talking about what it's doing, trying to bring people up to speed to make sure everyone was aware of what was coming. Well, now we have the next step of that. The bill has been passed, and now it's law. Now, what do we do? One thing we're not going to do is we're not going to kick rocks and cry. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep fighting. The bill still has to go through the appropriations process, so we have multiple bites at the apple again. And we're going to educate the people on what the impacts are and how to protect yourself going forward. So tonight at 6 p.m., we'll have a town hall. So far we have more than 600 people who have RSVP'd, so it's going to be the venue is huge, so don't worry. There's plenty of room, plenty of parking, plenty of security. But the venue is going to be packed with people who I'm encouraged, who want to learn more. I'm blessed to have been able to get leaders of the Democratic Party in Congress to be here. Our esteemed minority leader and soon-to-be Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, will be here. You know that he is a dynamic leader and a fighter for the people. I'm very honored that he agreed to come and spend time with me here in New Orleans. We also have Debbie Wasserman Schultz, another dynamic leader. Another dynamic leaders, we have Robin Kelly and
from Illinois,
Nanette Barragan, who are all members of the Steering and Policy Committee, for which I'm grateful to serve as well, to have a very frank discussion, a town hall where we will speak to the people, we will listen to the people, we will answer questions from the people, provide resources to talk about things like this. One, what does it mean to Louisiana? We've heard the numbers. We know that 1/3 of the people in Louisiana are dependent on Medicaid. We know that our senior citizens are dependent on Medicaid who are living in assisted living facilities. We know that there are people living with disabilities who depend on Medicaid. We know that there are veterans that depend on Medicaid. We know that our children and families depend on SNAP benefits for food assistance. All these things are being threatened. We also know that this new policy that they're going to implement, that a person has to reapply every 6 months. We want to make sure that we're instructing and helping people stay on top of that, because what their angle is to get people to forget. How cruel is that? We should make access easy, not try to fool you or catch you not re-upping. You've got to re-up every 6 months. Imagine if you had to re-up your driver's license every 6 months. Most people wouldn't have a driver's license because you're busy, you're living, you're working, you're taking care of your family. Who has the time to remember that every 6 months they have to redo this? So the theory on their part is to inundate you with paperwork so people will fall off the rolls. It is not only a big, ugly bill, it's a cruel effort to hurt people.
Yeah,
this town hall will give us an opportunity to hear people. I could not be more honored and appreciative. As you know, over the last several years, I have been able to bring a lot of heavy hitters into New Orleans, into Louisiana, from bringing the president multiple times, the vice president multiple times, the EPA administrator came to Louisiana more times in the last 4 years than they did in the entirety of EPA. Of course, now we're having a shift where our environmental gains, our efforts to provide resources through the Inflation Reduction Act to put money into environmental injustice, to demonstrate to the people of the river parishes and throughout Louisiana and throughout the country that we believe, too, that you deserve to have clean water and clean air. And we continue to push back against that. But elections have consequences. Now Donald Trump is working feverishly to undo all of the positives that we have. But as you often hear me say, quitting is not an option. Failure is not an option. So we just keep readjusting. As they throw a curveball, we adjust our bat.
And
yeah,
so go ahead, Will.
I think that's a powerful lineup. I think it would be wonderful to have you there for the entire session, talking about these issues so that people know the impact. I know. But
I'm going to absolutely be there.
Yeah, of course you will. I'm just saying you alone would be great. But to have Hakeem Jeffries from the state of New York, Robin Kelly from Illinois, Debbie Wasserman-Schultz from Florida, and Nanette Barragan from California, we need to understand how this affects us and what this is doing across the nation. We have relatives and friends who live in other states, and these folks represent some of them. They are their constituents. And this is a really powerful example what happened in Texas. Until some people feel the pain, it seems they're focused on the wrong things and not understanding how this will affect them, their families, their friends, their coworkers.
You know, Will, I love that sentiment, but I've got to say, I keep saying every time we have a mass shooting, okay, now they're going to realize.
All right.
Now we had another mass shooting, and this time it was in their community. Maybe now they'll realize. Well, there's another school shooting, and these young kids, babies, were killed. Maybe now they'll wake up and realize we need sensible gun control.
I know.
It doesn't seem to move them, even when it hurts their own constituents. And I just can't figure out what's inside your head that you don't care about people. You only care about power, greed, and the orange man who occupies the White House. There's something critically wrong when you know. Look at Tom Tillis, the senator from North Carolina. He had to say he wasn't going to run for re-election before he found the comfort to say what he said, that he believed was right. Why couldn't you say it while you were running for re-election? He had to say, I'm not going to run for re-election. Now I'm going to tell you the truth. No, man. Tell them the truth every day, because that's what you raise your right hand and take an oath of office to do. Tell them the truth even when it hurts you. You're not elected to only do the right thing when it benefits you. But Donald Trump has them all frightened. Speaker Johnson has 40% of the people in his district are Medicaid dependent. 40%. Louisiana, second only to Mexico when it comes to people that are dependent on Medicaid. Let that sink in. Yet we have the two leaders in Congress are from Louisiana.
Well, Congressman, I'm going to continue to say how grateful we are to have you there, because we've seen you on the floor. There are videos of you holding these people to task, asking them, questioning them about particular things in this bill that they can't, with their entire chest, speak to, because more often than not, they haven't read it. They don't even understand what they're voting for. They're just voting to not make him angry. And when I heard you say, we don't understand why they're voting the way they do, I think it's the definition of a cult. This feels like a cult. You know it's not the right thing, but you are brainwashed to believe that this is in your best interest. And I'm talking about the constituents here, because they know this is not right, but they continue to believe that he's not talking about them. He's talking about the other people, the other folk. Until it happens to them, they don't realize. And Texas, to me, is going to be a case study in that very sentiment. Because prior to you coming on, I was sharing with Will that there's a woman that is very vocal on social media about immigrants and talking about feeding them to the alligators and alligator Alcatraz and wearing the paraphernalia, and we not coming to help you and, get out of our country. We're tired of paying for you. And now she's begging for help on the news. And she's saying, we're all human. We're human. Come and help us. And in my mind, I'm like, do you not look at immigrants as human? Those are people you're talking about. They're not inanimate objects. They're people. And so I'm grateful to have you, and I'm grateful for this town hall. And I'm wondering, and we could ask you, we could pick up on the other side of the break with this question, but I'm wondering if something like this is happening in other parts of the country, whereby Congress folk are bringing the information directly to the states and to the people to let them know the realities of this bill. We'll talk about that on the other side, Congressman. Stay with us, WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
It's another classic summer day in southeast Louisiana. Hot, humid, and stormy at times. Highs reached the low to mid-90s this afternoon, but it'll feel more like 100 to 105. Scattered storms are possible, especially later in the day, and a few could bring downpours, lightning, and gusty winds. The mix of heat and storms stays with us into the weekend, so stay weather aware. For the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Entergy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
Have you ever imagined yourself on the sidelines of the big game, representing athletes in negotiations, working in sports medicine? we're calling all high school students interested in a future career in sports. The Starting Block, a program created by the family of my dear friend, the late chef Leah Chase, and by yours truly, Arnie Filko, is accepting applications now for our third cohort, which begins this fall. Participants in this prestigious program learn from the experts in sports administration, marketing, broadcast journalism, and more. Run in partnership with Tulane's Center for Sport, the Starting Block incorporates real-life experiences shadowing local sports teams alongside classroom instruction led by the best in the field. If you're a rising freshman, sophomore, or junior across the metro New Orleans area interested in a future career in sports, please visit thestartingblocknola.com. Thestartingblocknola.com now to learn more and to apply for our 18-month free program.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. If you're just joining the conversation, but you know it's Thursday, you know who's on the phone line, the one and only Congressman Troy Carter here talking to us about this town hall that is happening today at 6 p.m. and all of the topics will be covered. I know the focus will be about the health care and what that means for so many Americans. And so if you just happen to be in that number, you should be ecstatic about it. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show, Congressman Troy Carter.
Thank you. Always good to be with you guys. And I always like to take a moment and pause to thank you, to thank Will, to thank WBOK for providing this forum for so many of our people to have unfettered access to information, because information is power. The more we know, the more we learn, the more we're able to protect ourselves. And so I want to personally thank you guys for being such a powerful voice and force in our community. Dr. Wyatt, I can't thank you enough for your ever-present commentary and willingness to speak truth to power.
Oh, thank you so much. It is my honor every single Thursday to talk to you, because I know we'll get the information straight from the source. And again, I've seen a multitude of videos of you and that New Orleans be getting ready to come up out you. I say, hold on now, Congressman, don't come up. Listen, because you know one thing, I'm coming up there behind you.
I have to remind them sometimes I'm from the cutoff. Now watch out, I bring it out.
Gotta let them know. And one of the questions that I often hear from folk who are watching what is happening on the floor, people are questioning, why are the Democrats spending so much time on the mic, you know, with these long speeches and things, and they don't understand the relevance of it or the significance of it. Can you talk to us about it? Because I know that you guys spent 26 and a half hours in the Energy and Commerce Committee fighting back against Republicans' plans to rip our constituents' health care away. But for the layperson who really doesn't understand how it works, can you tell us the significance of making your voices heard, no matter how long it takes?
Yes, and that's a part of what you hear me talk about all the time in the 3 C's, the Congress, the courts, and the community. The first C is us, the Congress. And since we don't have the votes, I mean, here's the reality. We don't have enough votes in the House or the Senate. So we have to use our other procedural tools, and that is to slow the process down while we work on trying to get 1 or 2 votes to come our way. Slow the process down and maybe run the clock out to stop it that way. Sometimes it's a matter of, tiring them out. If you're gonna use your votes to mess over the American people, we're not gonna make it easy for you. You might win this round, but you're gonna know you had a fight, and that's what the American people needs to know. Although we may be outvoted, we're not going to be outvoiced, and we're not going to just lay over and let you take advantage of the American people. So oftentimes you see, the nearly 27 hours around the clock that I spent in Energy and Commerce Committee. That's 27 hours around the clock, offering amendment after amendment, challenging them on these silly bills that they have, challenging their witnesses, making them explain to the American people, and oftentimes making a record to show just how silly they are, that they can't even explain their own pieces of legislation, that they don't know the answers to the tough questions that we ask, and we get them in gotcha moments multiple times a day. That's in committee. And the same thing applies in multiple other committees. We were in nearly 27 hours in Energy and Commerce. Ways and Means, I think, were in 22 hours. We were 30-plus hours the day that this bill passed on the House floor around the clock. Imagine that day was a nearly 40-hour day without sleep. That's almost 2 days straight, working around the clock, strategizing and using all of the tools in our toolbox in that first C of Congress. Congress is not just voting. It's also amplifying our voices. It's also challenging them on procedures. It's also challenging them on the rules. It's also asking questions and gumming up the systems with one amendment after another to demonstrate that, look, we're going to keep fighting, man. Y'all, you think this is going to be an easy walk? It's not going to be an easy walk. You've got us outnumbered, but you don't have us outsmarted. And so when you see that, those long speeches, and you see the 25, 26, 27, 30-plus hours around the clock, that's your members of Congress fighting with the limited tools that we have. But we're not saying, woe is me. We're not just saying, oh, y'all got us, so we're going to sit back and let you. No, it doesn't work like that. I'm old school. You hit me, I'm going to hit you back.
Hey, Congressman.
And that's what we're doing.
We have just another few minutes with you. Want to piggyback, get you back to talking about the appropriations piece of this, because if people are just paying attention to the top line headlines, they might think it's over, there's nothing that can be done. It is law, but appropriations means funding parts of the law. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so the bill has passed, but that is just the budget side of it. Now those cuts, those implementation, all of that still has to go through an appropriation process. So many parts of this still has to still go through now the next mechanism of activation, and that is through the appropriation process, where actual resources are appropriated to be able to put these things into motion. So we'll have another bite at the apple, and as we speak, we're developing strategies. When I tell you we have confidential briefings every single day, even when we are not in session in D.C. proper, we're on confidential Zoom calls. We're working tirelessly to come up with other strategies on how we're going to protect the American people from even what has now been signed into law. We're not going to just accept because now it's law, we have nothing else we can do. Of course we can. We're going to continue to fight. We're going to fight until we have the numbers to repeal this and turn it back around. Midterms will be here soon enough, and hopefully we will recover the House. Hakeem Jeffries will become the first African-American Speaker of the House. We will be able to fight back with proper tools against Donald Trump and his minions. And the appropriation process continues, a part of what we'll be talking about tonight. And I encourage people to please come out to a part of what we'll be talking about tonight is, next steps, the actions that we'll be taking, and also the next steps of how to protect yourself in the meantime against these dreaded cuts.
And Congressman, I also wanted to make the point that I went to your news conference on Saturday that was during the Essence Festival, where you and other congressional leaders and civil rights organizations leaders were. And I just want to give this observation to the people to piggyback on what you just said. So the news conference was at a hotel downtown. They were all gathered, coming in one by one to gather for the news conference when the cameras would go on and they would say what they had to say and share about the devastation of this bill. What I want listeners to know, since you weren't there, you listeners weren't there, is they didn't wait for the news conference to talk. They were off at this wall or this corner and pulling this one. And I didn't go and interrupt the conversations, but they were very passionately discussing what else can be done. And that's a part of what you do.
And I appreciate that, Will, because people, what that is demonstrative of is people don't always see what's happening because you're not there sometimes or the cameras aren't there. But know this, we're always working. In that meeting with Reverend Al Sharpton, with Derek Johnson, with Damon Lewis, with Mark Morial, with esteemed leaders from all over the country, members of Congress, Greg Meeks and Yvette Clarke and others, you know, we're always utilizing our tools, whether it's with the civil rights community leaders or with our faith-based community leaders or our local and state partners. Members of Congress, particularly the Congressional Black Caucus, which I'm proud to be the first vice chair, we're not leaving any stone unturned. Listen, we've got a tough road to hoe, but we're not gonna quit, and we're gonna keep fighting. And listen, we're resilient people, man. We've been through a lot of stuff, and while we don't like having to go through a lot of stuff, we know how to go through a lot of stuff.
Well, we appreciate you, Congressman, as always. I look forward to Thursdays because I know we're going to get the information that we need direct from the source. So thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. And I'm excited to see you this evening. So I'll see you soon. Thank you so much, Congressman. We'll see you next Thursday here on WBOK.
And for those of you who went and RSVP'd, the address and location is now in your inboxes. So if you've already RSVP'd, the address of the location will be in your inbox now. Go back and check your email.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Congressman. Have a blessed one. Listen, over 500 people have RSVP'd for this this forum town hall event. People are eager to hear directly from all of these congressional leaders as to the state of this country and what does it mean for so many people who will undoubtedly lose health care. People will die because of the decisions of this administration. So if you've RSVP'd, check your inbox for the location, and we'll see you this evening. Look, on the other side of the break, we'll hear from our partners at Delgado by way of Dr. Tamika Duplessis, Dr. Orlando Williams-Smith, and Dr. Dana Lawson. Y'all stay with us right here, WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
New Schools for New Orleans, along with New Orleans Public Schools and the Cowell Institute, are excited to announce the launch of a new digital tool on the data dashboard. New Orleans Public Schools, 20 years later, a timeline of recovery, transformation, and growth. The tool provides data, information, and context on the past 20 years of K-12 education in New Orleans, the changes that occurred, and the outcomes these changes helped produce. Visit nolapublicschools.com/K20 to view the tool and learn more.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Philadelphia City worker strike is over. Union leaders and the city agreed to a 9% raise over 3 years. Black District Council 33 President Greg Boulware had a message for workers.
The union stood up and fought for you, and we did the best we could with the circumstances we had in front of us.
City services have resumed. Queens Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani made history in New York City's mayoral primary, earning over 565,000 votes, the most ever. He beat Andrew Cuomo by 13 points and called the win a mandate for progressive change, including rent freezes and free transit. And reality TV star and dentist Dr. Heavenly Kimes is running for Georgia's House District 93. Known from Married to Medicine, she's focused on healthcare, education, and police reform. She launched her campaign July 8th at the state capitol. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy second day of qualifying, and congratulations to all of our candidates who've availed themselves for public office. We gave you the list earlier in the show. We're hoping to hear from the Honorable Darren Lombard to see if any names have been added to that list. I'm certain that they have. The registration process or the qualifying process started at 8 a.m. It is only 8:06. So at some point during this hour, we will hear from the Honorable Darren Lombard, and I want to thank Congressman Troy Carter for his service on behalf of the constituents of the state of Louisiana. And so if you've RSVP'd for that forum that is happening tonight, please check your inbox for the location. If you did not RSVP, but you want to listen, you can listen right here, WBOK 1230 a.m. Tonight, you can listen. You won't be able to see us, but you can hear hear the live stream. So if you're unable to make it in person or you did not get an opportunity to RSVP, we will live stream it right here for you to listen, because we like that and we like to bring the information straight to our folk. But right now we're getting ready to jump into a real good conversation with our folk over at Delgado, talking about their Super Saturday registration event, as well as their Louisiana Healthcare Connections, by way of Dr. Tamika Duplessis, Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, Dr. Orlando Williams Smith, Vice Chancellor for Workforce Development, and Dr. Dana Lawson, Senior Vice President for Louisiana Healthcare Connections. It's a whole Dr. Block party happening this morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm great.
morning.
I'm great. How y'all doing?
Yeah, great. It's always great to be on WBOK.
Oh, absolutely. So listen, it's always good to have you. So we can just jump right on into it. There's a Super Saturday registration event. Can you talk to us about what all that entails? What can the folk expect? How do we sign up?
Yes, so good morning, everyone. So Delgado Community College is getting ready for our newest academic year. Fall enrollment is currently underway. We are inviting everyone who wants to step closer to Unstoppable to chart a new course or upskill to join us at our Delgado Super Saturday registration event. The event is occurring Saturday, July 19th. It is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It is going to be located at Delgado City Park campus. That is right in the heart of City Park area, 615 City Park Avenue. This event is very, very special to us. It is sponsored by Louisiana Healthcare Connections, which is bringing a new component to our events. We do these every semester, but this time we're going to have our first ever community health event associated with our Super Saturday. We're going to have a live DJ, backpack giveaway for Delgado students who have school-age children, and so much more. So during this event, any attendee will have access to information about admissions, financial aid, advising, health and wellness, and the community events. We're so grateful. Thanks to our partners at Louisiana Healthcare Connections. And later on, I guess we'll talk about it more, and Dr. Lawson can definitely share more about that. So we want everyone to come out, enroll, and explore what Delgado has to offer.
Well, Dr. Duplessis, listen, when you come here, you give us so much information. I'm going around telling folk about what Delgado offers. I'm always talking about Delgado to people on the street, especially our young folk who I feel like Delgado can add some sort of structure and direction to their lives. So the stuff you come on here and share, please understand that I carry it out in the community on behalf of our partners over at Delgado. I'm always championing and talking about all of the work that Delgado is doing because y'all surprise me every single time y'all come on because I learn something new about what is offered there. And so thank you for all of these events. And Dr. Lawson, can you add anything to that as the Vice President for the Louisiana Healthcare Connections? What is your role here with the Super Saturday registration event?
Yes, ma'am. We are just grateful partners to the Delgado community for allowing us to partner with them at Louisiana Healthcare Connections. We are dedicated to transforming the lives of individuals, throughout the communities that we serve. And so, just being part of this event and really bringing health and wellness activities to the community as a whole. We want to really highlight this existing partnership to help people counter any barriers that they're encountering, regarding access to education and, just the overwhelming health inequities that are present throughout the medical system. And so with this partnership, we are happy to be out there, happy to lend our reach and our visibility to Delgado and just be great partners throughout the community.
So what types of things can people expect in terms of what should somebody bring with them? So let's say there's somebody in the family who knows they've been away from school for a number of years, and so they haven't gone through the registration process, and they've already made the decision, I want to take a course or two or three or curriculum at Delgado. And then there's somebody else who is determined they're not particularly looking for a degree, but they want certifications. Should they come there just as they are, or are there particular things that they should put in their satchel or their backpack?
So that's a really, really great question, and thank you so much for bringing that up. So Delgado Community College is an open enrollment institution. So in order to enroll in classes, we ask that they bring a valid government-issued ID. If they have any transcripts, that would be great. That will help our advisors place them in the right courses. If it's on the academic side, any of our workforce or non-credit courses will not need as such. But we really ask that they bring a desire to learn. Once we get here, we'll have staff on hand ready to assist them with anything else they may need. But we really just want them to come out, express their desire with that ID, and we can get them set up.
And so I want to talk briefly to Dr. Orlando Williams Smith as the Vice Chancellor for Workforce Development. Can you talk to us about this Delgado Louisiana Healthcare Connections partnership, and what does it bring to the Super Sunday registration event?
Yeah, so
Super Saturday. I'm a New Orleans girl, so you heard me say Sunday, but I apologize. It's the Super Saturday registration event.
Look, I was about to pull out my umbrella, but so listen, this partnership with LHC is just one of the examples of what helps Delgado to continue to grow, to continue to be the stellar community college that we are, because of our partnerships with our corporate and industry partners that help us to bring innovation in preparation for the workforce. So to date, this partnership with LHCC, we've had more than 40 Delgado students to receive scholarships between $1,500 to $3,750 through this grant. It's been a benefit for courses like CNA, certified medical assistant, or other healthcare related fields. And so when you look at it and people are like, okay, well, CNA, CMAs, when COVID hit, we found why those positions are so very important. And so we have utilized this partnership to start a pathway. So them coming out, we'll be bringing other partners, and the whole health fair allows some of our students in massage therapy, CNA, and the like to come out and then kind of show some of the things that they've learned. And because of these scholarships, but these students enroll on the workforce side through LAC scholarships, and then they have a pathway to the LPN and RN and other allied health programs at Delgado Community College.
And listen, I'm so excited about this event because it wouldn't be New Orleans if there wasn't a live DJ. Who is the DJ for this event? Because I see there's a live DJ. Do we know who that person is just yet?
It's a surprise.
Was that Dr. Duplessis that said that?
Yeah. Of course.
I knew it.
But it's not.
Listen, I knew it. And listen, I'm not even mad because I don't know not one bad New Orleans DJ. So I'm excited to see who that would be. But Dr. Duplessis, can you talk to us? Because I think it's so important to mention that 1 in every 90 jobs in this region is connected to Delgado Community College. And Delgado is also rated the #1 associate degree in nursing in Louisiana by the College Factual. Can you talk to us about just some of the really important data points that make Delgado so special to this community?
So, Delgado Community College has an economic impact that is huge. It is estimated that it is about $588 million annually that Delgado Community College graduates and our programs pump into this area. So we are super excited to make sure that we're bringing this information and making it accessible to all who wants to be there. Delgado has over 100 degrees and certificate programs. When we talk about the actual jobs, the people who are connected to jobs and contribute to this economic impact, and you already mentioned it's about 1 in every 90 jobs in this region are connected to Delgado Community College and a Delgado Community College graduate. We serve about 21,000 students annually, so that gives you an idea of the breadth and depth and who we actually serve here at Delgado Community College.
I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, I'm always learning about Delgado when you come here. And can you talk to us about the upcoming enrollment dates once again? Because I know some folk are in and out as they're listening. Can you give us those upcoming enrollment dates?
So enrollment is ongoing, so you can stop into any of our campuses now, but we have some major events, starting with the Super Saturday, that's July 19th. We also have other Saturday events. Those dates are August 9th as well as August 16th. But anyone can stop in anytime between now and the time classes start, and we are ready to get you ready and on the road to being unstoppable.
Absolutely. And can you talk to us about where we can find more information? Where can folks sign up for these events? Where can they go to register? Give us that information, whether it's email, website, whether it's social media handles or phone numbers.
So all of this information is located on our website. Our website is www.dcc.edu. You can always call us. Our number is 504-671-5000. On our website, we have a calendar and events page. If you scroll all the way at the bottom, it gives you all of the details about the location, the times, the building. And if there's any signups needed, which these do not, that information will be there as well.
And Dr. William Smith, as the Vice Chancellor for Workforce Development, do you see any correlation between what Delgado is doing and how folk are operating in the workforce? Are they getting employment upon completion of certifications at Delgado? How are those data numbers looking?
So yes, we are. Let me give you some information. Right now, especially on the workforce, and normally when we graduate our students, we already have an industry partner ready to hire them. So our hire rate is about 60 to 75% if we don't have a industry partner. If we do have an industry partner, you're looking at 95 and sometimes 100%. And the only reason that you may see that they are not being hired is because some of them may decide to take positions elsewhere or move out, and that's very seldom that we see that. So, yes, I do see the correlation. I also see that we have a strong partnership with our academic and workforce divisions where you have more students that are coming through the workforce to get the entry-level jobs, some mid-level, and, some improvements on the jobs that they already have, and then coming back through the academic division to further grow their education, either with the associate's degree or a certificate of technical education. So, yes, the impact, and when that impact study was done, we were able to look at exactly coming back through workforce, how many were trained. I mean, go all the way back to COVID. We worked with 675 small businesses, getting them back online, showing them what they need to do, to how to pivot in the midst of COVID with their employees. So Delgado's reach, especially in workforce, I would say goes a little bit even further than sometimes we give ourselves credit for, because we are assisting as well as educating.
And I listen. I can't tell you how excited I always am to talk about what is happening at Delgado. And Dr. Dana Lawson, who is the Senior Vice President for Louisiana Healthcare Connections, can you expound on this idea or this initiative with this 5-year grant to Delgado? What does it entail, and how was Delgado able to secure a 5-year grant that focuses on overcoming healthcare inequities?
Absolutely. Again, this partnership with Delgado has really been born out of their stellar reputation throughout the community and our desire to really partner and give back to those areas that we serve. As the largest Medicaid managed care organization in the state, we take very seriously transforming the health of individuals. And so with that 5-year grant it really does focus on those 3 areas, scholarships for, nursing and allied health programs, as well as providing academic program support and development, as well as community partnership innovation through initiatives such as Super Saturday. Again, we are looking to secure the future of individuals who want to get into these areas that sometimes they're not able to. And so, we're happy to be able to provide this funding and this partnership with Delgado, and we're just grateful for the opportunity.
So this event is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, July 19th, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, for those family members and friends who want to accompany somebody. Even if they're not interested in enrolling, they can get additional information about Delgado for the future. But you have these health screenings. Can you talk about that a minute to let our listeners know what they can do with the health screenings there at the event?
Yes, sir. We have health screenings. We've got other community partners who will be coming out, like Second Harvest, American Red Cross. DePaul will be on site helping with those specific health screenings. And really, it is an investment in people's overall health. So many times people are caught up in their day-to-day, and this is an opportunity if they don't have a chance to get to the doctor to get their yearly, screening for blood pressure or diabetes or what have you. This is an opportunity for people to come and know what their numbers are, get information on how they can build healthy habits into their everyday routines, and to love on themselves. And so with Delgado spearheading this and the various community partners who've committed to coming out and providing these critical services, we're hoping that we have a great turnout, not just for Delgado, but for the community as well, just to let them know that we are here. We are all invested in the health and future of the community.
And there are going to be some backpacks over there. Is that right?
Yes. So we are also hosting our backpack giveaway. We do this once a semester as well, while supplies last.
Right. Okay.
And this is an opportunity to also meet admissions, workforce development, financial aid, and academic advising teams to schedule classes. So even at this event, you're giving the folk an opportunity to actually schedule their classes at this particular Super Saturday event?
Yes. We'll have advisors and staff on hand to assist with that process.
Well, I want you to once again tell us where this event is taking place, what is the date, the time, and how can they sign up?
All right. So pre-registration is not needed. Just come on over to Delgado Community College. The event is taking place on Saturday, July 19th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the City Park campus. The address is 615 City Park Avenue.
Listen, thank you so much. Dr. Tamika Duplessis, Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs at Delgado Community College. Dr. Orlando Williams-Smith, Vice Chancellor for Workforce Development at Delgado Community College, and Dr. Dana Lawson, Senior Vice President for Louisiana Healthcare Connections. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. I'll continue to talk about this event as the show progresses, so that I'll continue to share the time, the date, and the location, so that folk who missed your segment can hear where they can go to get access to this incredible event, which is your Super Saturday registration event happening at Delgado from 12 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Delgado, and there's no registration needed. And I'll continue to share that information. But thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. I hope to see you soon, and you're welcome back anytime. We appreciate our partnership.
And thank you so much for your support. So remember, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you so much, Dr. Duplessis. Have a blessed one.
You too. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Listen, Delgado has amazing things. They offer so much over at that institution. And this Super Saturday registration event is no different. It is happening from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on July 19th at 615 City Park Avenue. You don't need to register to sign up anywhere. Dr. Duplessis said you can just come on out. There'll be health screenings, a DJ, backpack giveaways while supplies last, but you can also register for your courses. And so this is an amazing event. And look, when you hear the word super, it's always followed by Sunday in New Orleans, but on July 19th is Super Saturday registration event. So shout out to Dr. Duplessis, Dr. William Smith, and Dr. Dana Lawson, our partners over at Delgado and Louisiana Healthcare Connections. Thank y'all so much for joining us. But before we go to break, I want to bring back the conversation that we were having, because on the other side of the break, we'll hear from our folk over at the Amistad Research Center. But I wanted to just talk briefly about the conversations we were having off air so we could bring that conversation to the forefront. On yesterday, I was telling you guys about the LEAP scores that came out. And, I chuckled because I laugh when I hear a joke. Well, our friends over at NOLA.com has a new article out, Patrick Wall over at NOLA.com, and it says these are the top performing New Orleans public schools on the 2025 LEAP test. And I'm specifically talking to my educators right now. I'm talking to my parents, and I'm talking to all of these school leaders around this city, because, see, this is what I always have an issue with. We continue to let people perpetrate frauds on our children and on our community, and we sit back and we say nothing. But maybe this is going to get your attention. The top performing New Orleans public schools per the 2025 LEAP. And I know those of you who are engaging in the chat, Reverend Calhoun, lean in, because this is a conversation you want to hear. Here is the list. I'm not even going to talk about middle schools. I'm going to go straight to high schools. And I want you to spot the thing that doesn't belong. Can we play that game? Spot the thing that does not belong. Here are the top performing high schools per this article. Number 1, Benjamin Franklin, 95% mastery or above. Number 2, the Willow School, 88% mastery or above. Number 3, Franklin A. Douglas High School, 32% mastery or above. Number 4, G.W. Carver High School, 30% mastery or above. Number 5, Sophie B. Wright Institute of Academic Excellence, 29% mastery. Eleanor McMain Secondary School, 27% mastery. Morris Jeff Community School, 24% mastery. Abramson Sci Academy, 24% mastery. Edna Carr High School, 23% mastery. New Orleans Charter Science and Math High School, 20% mastery or above. Warren Eastern Charter High School, 20% or above. And McDonald 35 Senior High School, 18% or above. A lie don't care who tell it. Do you hear me, Will Sutton?
I hear you.
A lie don't care who tell it. And I'm disgusted by this list. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't care about nobody getting mad because y'all can't whip my behind. I only got one mom and a daddy. What y'all going to do? Nothing. But y'all got to stop lying to our children. Y'all got to stop playing in our face. Because, I reported on one particular school that's on this list, and they didn't have not one content area that was above 10%. And now you want to tell me that they top 5 in top performing high schools? Y'all got to stop playing. See, this is what the relationship with the Leslie Jacobs of the world gets you, Will Sutton. Not only do it get you a seat on the Bessie board, but it gets you on the top 10 high school list in New Orleans. Y'all got to stop playing. Look, don't hate the player, hate the game. Leslie Jacobs is good at what she does. She's really good, and I see you over there quiet, Will. You ain't got to talk about it. I will.
I hear. Well, it's your lane,
I
baby.
will.
It's
I will.
your lane, sister.
They can't whip me. They can't do nothing with me. Ain't nobody can whip me. I got one mama and a dead daddy. Who gonna pop me, boo? Like Sheree said on the Housewives.
That's right. Yeah.
Y'all gotta stop lying. It's qualifying time. Don't be telling me to don't be waving at me like you're trying to land no plane because you don't want me to talk about it. I'm just laughing at y'all because y'all can play in everybody else's face, but you will not play in mine. You will not play in mine. I know the people in the alumni over at McDonald 35 like, what? How? Child, I know the people in the car like, what? How? Stop playing with us. But Darren Lombard is calling. I got to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to hear from the Honorable Darren Lombard as it relates to our election cycle.
Qualifying today.
Take them now. The boss man say take them now.
All right, we're ready.
Take them now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Darren Lombard, welcome back to the Good Morning Show. You have any updates for us?
Good morning, Doc and Will.
Good morning.
As of today, I mean, yesterday was pretty filled. We had 38 people yesterday. Today we haven't had anybody come in yet.
What?
It's 8:30.
What? What? They out partying late last night? Did they miss their bus?
I know they was in the street second line with Belden Noonan man Baptiste. They feet hurt. they need to soak.
Nobody yet. Okay, we'll check in again with you before 9.
What's wrong with I had my pen in my hand ready. You gonna call me back when you get somebody?
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Listen, we're gonna go to break, but when we come back, are we still?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. We're gonna hear from. I'm assuming Kathy Hambrick, the one and only Kathy Hambrick from Amistad Research Center, and I want people to really lean into this conversation because they need help over there and they need funding, and we need to be able to help pull it together. So y'all stay with us right here. We'll hear from Kathy Hambrick from the Amistad Research Center. This is WBOK 1238 and what New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
Plan on flying? It's time to upgrade to a Real ID. Because in order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a Real ID, or you'll need another acceptable form of identification. So don't wait. Find out how to get your Real ID at tsa.gov/RealID. That's tsa.gov/RealID, or visit your local DMV. And then you'll be cleared for takeoff.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. New Orleans police say a man was shot in the CBD on the edge of the French Quarter. It happened just after 1 a.m. at the intersection of Dauphine and Canal Streets. We're told the victim was taken to a local hospital. Right now, there's no word on his condition or if police have a suspect in custody. The NOPD is also investigating after a man was shot in New Orleans East Thursday afternoon and died overnight. We're told that shooting happened along Trappier Avenue near Hain Boulevard. That was around 4:15 p.m. Then things could get heated at a city council meeting today as members look to override two recent moves by New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell. One deals with how money is spent through the Wisner Fund, which could impact the Charity Hospital Revitalization Project. The other deals with a change in trash contracts impacting services in the French Quarter and downtown. The council will meet at 10 a.m. inside council chambers. And finally, a heads up for streetcar riders. The Rampart streetcar line is currently out of service and will remain so until at least August 1st. That's as the Sewerage and Water Board performs construction work in the area. Riders are encouraged to use the number 8 St. Claude Araby bus or the number 55 Elysian Fields bus as alternates. And that's a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
Got unpaid parking or camera tickets in New Orleans? Here's some good news. Through August 31st, you can take care of them without paying late fees. That's money back in your pocket. Just go to NOLA.gov/no late fees to see what you owe. You can pay all at once or sign up for a payment plan and break it into monthly payments at no extra cost. That's NOLA.gov/no late fees. NOLA.gov/no late fees. Don't miss out. This offer ends August 31st.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
We are back. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta White. Shout out to our interns behind the glass holding it all together for us, and my co-host, Will Sutton. If you're just joining the conversation, you missed some dialogue with our partners from Delgado by way of Dr. Tamika Duplessis, Dr. Orlando Williams-Smith, and Dr. Dana Lawson. And Dr. Duplessis, if you are listening for your Super Saturday event, one of our listeners reached out and she wants me to ask you to have a voter registration drive if you are able to do
Great
so
idea.
at the event. She wants to have a voter registration booth situated at the giveaway, and she asked me to share that information with you. And so there you have it. But right now we're getting ready to jump into conversation with the offspring of the one and only Joe Madison, affectionately known as the Black Eagle, his daughter, Shauna Renee of Urban View Mornings on Sirius XM Radio, and her brother, Jason Madison. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. It's such an honor to have you here with us.
Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here at the legendary WBOK AM.
Listen, I'm excited, and I was talking to Miss Kathy Hambrick over the break, and she was talking to me about your father and telling me about you guys as his children, and saying that you saw some things at the Amistad that you've seen for the first time in your life as it relates to your father's legacy in life. Can you talk to us about that?
Sure. Mm-hmm. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to Kathy, Miss Kathy Hambrick, and the entire staff there, because they've done such a fantastic job curating his collection. He was dedicated and determined to ensure that his papers go to the Amistad Research Center. And so they were able to put, I think it was almost 40 some boxes.
49 boxes.
Of his papers and belongings are at the research center. And so just having an opportunity to go through some of those boxes, we were able to enjoy handwritten letters that we hadn't seen, journals, travel
letters
logs
you had not seen,
that we didn't even know existed.
Wow.
You know, like your parents do things, and they don't always share them with you. You know, you're not always
they're going about their lives.
Exactly, absolutely, and even images. I was really surprised to see an image from my father's campaign in 1979. He ran for, I think, city council in Detroit. I was very young at the time, and I was able to, I saw a picture of myself as a very young girl and my grandmother, his mother, and that was the first picture that I've ever seen of the two of us.
You hadn't seen that picture
together.
before?
I hadn't seen that picture. I'd never seen a picture of the two of us together because she passed away when I was very young. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I was 3 or 4, so I didn't remember.
Sure.
But just to go through the collection and to see that, to see how important, to see how important culture, how important community, how important the city, how important the family was to my father. Outside of just like the normal conversations we would have day to day was incredible. And I'm so grateful for having
There was one thing that I was looking through some of the boxes and randomly came across. I found his elementary school report card.
Yeah.
How'd he do?
He did only okay in spelling.
Yeah, right.
He had good
And
math.
math.
He was
only
making
okay.
good grades as a kid. There was notes on the back of the report card from the teacher saying that I think he needs to spend the summer reading, and working on his spelling. But I think as we most know, when you can talk for a living, you can see that he was gifted as a talker at a very young age, but he got a C- in spelling.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I have a friend, and she knows who she is when I say this. She don't care how she put the words on the paper. You know what she tell people? I bet you understood what I said.
That comes out your mouth. Exactly right. And
I bet you understood what I said. So, I mean, even if it wasn't spelled right, I guarantee they got the message, right?
when you have this gift behind the microphone, you don't need to worry about how it looks
The
on the
Black
paper.
Eagle is a legendary voice. He was a legendary voice in radio and recognized as a human and civil rights activist. And, I mean, that's a huge word to put on someone, but I believe it's a word well-earned for your father. And I know it had to be. The first time I went to the Amistad and saw things that I had never been able to see before, it's almost chilling, like you just stand there. And it wasn't me looking at things of my father, so I could only imagine, the sentiment that you felt, which is why I think the Amistad is so important. And we are talking off air about the funding needs that place needs. And we have to be able to save it and make certain that we preserve it for situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
Children can go in and see your father's materials that you had never seen before. And they keep it so pristine, and so it's amazing what's in there.
It is a library,
yes,
and a museum in a very positive way. It's in that interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it wasn't my father, I was Miss Kathy took us back into the stacks, and I saw books from Langston Hughes. Collections from Nelson Mandela, all the way back to Marcus Garvey. I mean, name the subject. It is there, and it has that old school, for those out there who remember old school libraries, but also museum from the content, and it's all there to be accessed. And I think that is what the Amistad truly brings, and I think every listener should embrace that and embrace the need to preserve it, right? I don't want to say save it, right? But I think, I think Miss Kathy is, and you all know, everybody on this airway knows Miss Kathy, and she is so passionate about preservation. And I think that is the term that speaks financially. It speaks from access. We need to utilize it. We need to encourage our young people to utilize it. If you're doing a book report on anything, go see Miss Kathy at the Amistad, and you have countless. It's better than going to Wikipedia, right?
Yeah, it's a special place.
It's a special place. For the benefit of our listening audience who may not know who your father was, can I take a moment to share some things about him? In 2021, he went on a 73-day hunger strike to encourage passage of voter rights bills. Unbeknownst to his listeners, he was fighting prostate cancer during his hunger strike. When asked if he understood the danger he was in, he replied, "I am willing to die." A few months after his hunger strike, the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act passed in the Senate with the help of Madison's continued push on the radio. His efforts were noticed by many, including Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, who publicly thanked him for another fight for justice. So when we talk about activism, this is a title he earned, and many of us current day are not willing to sacrifice anything for the greater good. So just from WBOK to your family, we thank him for his service and his sacrifice. And it is an honor to be in dialogue about your father this morning. And so if you want to add anything else for the benefit of our listening audience, there's so much I can share about him. But what would you like our listening audience to know about your dad?
Well, can I say something apart from that and including that? Jason mentioned that Amistad is a great place to go if you want to do research for a book report. But as we are moving into this new world that's being created, we have to understand that, and I'm a huge advocate of it. I talk about it a lot on my Sirius XM show, that we have to remember to remember. A lot of the reasons I think people are having difficulty moving forward, trying to figure out what to do, how do we fight what's happening, is that we don't remember that we've been here before, that the people who have come before us, our ancestors, have fought fights like this. Maybe they've been even more difficult, more challenging. The blueprint is there. It's there. And the blueprint is in a place like Amistad. The blueprint is in other libraries and other collections, but we're specifically talking about Amistad because people like my father were aware enough, cognizant enough. They understood the importance of just individually preserving papers, preserving journal entries, even creating journal entries, preserving images, preserving audio. And so to do that and then have a place where it can rest and sit so that even if you're doing something more than a book report, you're doing some activism work. You're trying to build a groundswell of activity and activism and movement. There are opportunities there for you to go back and say, well, what worked? What didn't work? How can we apply some of the lessons that were learned before us to the present so that we don't have to make the mistakes, perhaps, the people behind us have made? So I just want to make a point that you can go there, yes, to do academic work, but I want the future activists to go there also and get into those stacks, read those books, read the papers, especially the private thoughts of folks who have done this work before, to understand we already know how to do this. We already know how to move forward.
And to kind of add what you're saying, as you read through my father's biography and you learn about him, in today's generation, I think he is the blueprint of, and he named his memoirs this, radioactive, right? As that we hear that word and we know what it means, but when you actually separate it, he is the blueprint from using his voice behind this microphone, which I will add parenthetically, now everybody has, right? Everybody now has a proverbial microphone to express their opinions, go live on your social medias, but he was active. He did it. He went out into the streets, and he actually put movement and tangible things that you can learn about at the Amistad. And I remember as a very young kid, you can go back and look, and it may not even be in his biography here. In 1985, he organized a march from Los Angeles to Baltimore, Maryland. He walked across the country, stopping in towns we cannot even name for voter registration, to register over 250,000 people to vote. And when you sit down and as we talk to him, and as you can find when you do the deep diving into him, is it was walking into a town, whether it's New Orleans or any parish right outside, creating a groundswell and people coming out, filling out by hand the voter registration card, and then dropping it off at City Hall and then walking to the next town. That's activism, right? That's not sitting behind a social media post or going live and talking about it. He did it as well as, as using the platform of media, which now everybody has. So again,
and you can see that influence. But you can see that influence in Ohio, because even in Dayton, Ohio, which is where he's from, recently in this last election, that's exactly what they did.
Yes.
They took a group of high school seniors, 18-year-old high school seniors from around the city and the surrounding areas, and they marched across the city and took them to, I think it was a post office, and said, okay, here we are. We've got hundreds of young people, and we're going to sit them down, and they're going to register to vote. We're going to take that action. We're going to motivate them. We're going to find a way to get them off of the devices, away from the televisions, and do the thing, be the thing, embody the thing. And I want to say also, my father would often talk about the difference between a moment and a movement. And I would love, he's written about that in the papers there, about how, we, especially these days, like we feel it, like it's like, oh, we need to get out there, we need to boycott, we need to do this. But then after a while, it just kind of dies down. And we're on to the next thing. Our attention spans are really short. We're not really committed and dedicated to the movement. And so he would often say, it takes time. Do you know how much time it takes to walk from Los Angeles to Baltimore? It takes time. It takes dedication. So I want young people to, in going back and reading not only his papers, but other people's papers, to realize that you have to put in the time.
It absolutely identifies the march. It calls it the March for Dignity from Los Angeles to Baltimore. It said the march garnered thousands of signatures for an anti-apartheid bill in Congress. And we're talking about a human being who dedicated his life to service, because at the tender age of 24, he became the youngest executive director of the NAACP's Detroit branch before being appointed by the organization's national political director and eventually being elected to the National Board of Directors, where he served for over 14 years. And so this is a storied life. And I prior to meeting you, I had never heard about your father. And so that's why I'm so enamored by it. I had never heard his story. So to go on a 73-day hunger strike while you're battling cancer for the rights of other human beings, that's sacrifice. And that's something we don't see often right now today. Not enough people are ready to sacrifice for someone else, right? We're talking about the floods in Texas. Right. And we're talking about how folk were talking so negatively about those same people in Texas were talking so negatively about the immigrants who were suffering under inhumane treatment by this administration, and now they need help, right? So we have to remember humanity. No matter what policies people are enacting, we have to remember humanity. And I think his story is a testament to that. He didn't go on a hunger strike for himself or for y'all. Right. He went for the betterment of other people.
Absolutely.
That's what we're missing right now.
And to Shauna's point that she was making earlier, it's not only his activism or his actual doing, but he would always say is that the difference between a moment and a movement is sacrifice. That's the word. That's the difference between, again, going back to what I said, radio and activism.
Right.
If we're saying radio is the, getting on social media or announcing the part of it, the activism is the actual doing. And so therefore the middle, what it takes to get from one to the other is sacrifice.
And Joe, and Jason, I'll tell you this. I often talk about theory and practice, because everybody could theorize. You can read it in a textbook. Somebody can write a paper, tell you how to do it. But there's theory and then there's practice,
that's
right?
Exactly
I want to be a practitioner for my community and its people. And I think hearing about folk like this, I understand where the connection, where the energy is. This is the kind of person I'm connected to kinetically, right? The energy of it. Because I don't know how to not be of service for people. It's not enough that my baby is okay. I want all people's children to be okay.
It starts with and I think this starts almost in reverse, Dr. Wyatt. I think, again, if you read it, at 24, to be the director of the Detroit branch, and I remember those days, that was the largest
24.
branch.
You know, he could have been doing
exactly.
anything that a regular 24-year-old. I'm
talking about where we were. We're at 24.
There are people trying to figure out what job,
exactly
what career. 24.
At 24,
sacrificing.
He was
for other people.
He was truly a savant in himself. But I think we all have those savants in our communities. So it's really about going out and actually doing and emphasizing that we go out and do it and start small, start in your community and do something.
And what this march tells me, this March for Dignity tells me kind of like what you were talking about, this generation up there, they want everything microwaved. And it has to be quick or it doesn't feel like it's working.
Right.
I mean, there's the struggle isn't instantaneous, right? It's about making certain that you're dedicated to the outcome, right? The work is the work, but you have to be dedicated to the outcome. And for me in this city, the outcome is making certain that all of our babies have access to equitable education, right? To make certain that all of us can read on grade level when we graduate from high school, that we're thriving in terms of citizenship. Because how can I do that if I can't read? Being literate is the foundation of humanity in my brain. So how can we disservice our children at the baseline of literacy? They can't read. And when folk act like, why are you so mad? That's why I'm so mad. Why you not mad? You're not mad enough. Right? And it makes you feel crazy. So I'm sure your father had those moments where he felt like he had to be going insane because how can he see it? And y'all can't see it.
Absolutely.
You know
That's
what
what
I
he
mean?
uses his platform.
Absolutely.
That's what he uses his platform.
Right.
I mean, walking into WBOK this morning takes Shauna and I back to when we used to go to work with Dad. Right. And I was saying about your interns. This is the coolest. A radio station is the coolest place
y'all
to
hear
go.
that? Y'all don't know how cool y'all are.
Right.
You hearing that from Joe Madison kids. Y'all cool.
It's the coolest place because it's got so many flashing lights. There's microphones and you can hear your voice. And I was 8 years old when both of us were very young when we started going to work with Dad into this microphone place. But at the same time, again, I'll transition back to activism. At 8 years old, he would also take us out to demonstrations in downtown Detroit or boycotts in the suburbs when he was just doing stuff. So we have this ability to take whatever it is that we get so vexed about, right?
Yeah.
That gets us to the boiling point. And Dad used to say this all the time. What are you going to do about it?
That was his tagline.
Talk about it.
What are you going to do? And the you being you. The you not being what are you going to encourage your politician or your leaders to do?
We talk about
what are you personally, when you get off this phone, people would call into the radio station and say, Joe, I can't believe blah, 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 blah. What are you going to do about it when you hang up this phone?
And what are you willing to sacrifice?
And what are you willing to sacrifice?
Listen, I could talk to y'all all day.
Before there was a Sirius XM, some decades older than all of y'all, okay? So Joe Madison meant a lot to us pre-Sirius XM, pre-social media. And so this black media piece, I want to make a connection to Joe Madison. So we didn't have TikTok and Instagram back then. It was our black newspapers and our radio stations. It didn't matter where Joe Madison was tied to a job and a microphone. What he was doing for us, they helped us track his movement from L.A. all the way to the East Coast. And when he was in Detroit, we couldn't always tap in. But when he went to WOL in D.C. and Radio 1 took it syndication, that is when some of us knew, and then some of everybody knew Joe Madison.
And in the home, Mr. Sutton, and in the home, I was coming of age. I was, through the high school and going off into college to Howard University myself and studying radio. And to as I reflect on it now, that's what it was.
That's right.
When we were in Detroit this is the 80s and the 90s, pre-social media, pre-things, Dad always took time to talk to reporters. From all different, because that was the way it could circulate around the country, prior to syndication and things. But when we got to DC and he transitioned to WOL, you could kind of see it. The term that we use now is go viral.
It went national.
He went viral.
It went national.
Viral.
Exactly.
And that's where you could really, truly see the impact. And for him, he then dialed in even harder.
I want to give you an opportunity, both of you, to have the last say. We have about 30, 40 seconds for you before we have to close the show. But I just want to say it's an honor to talk to you. I wish I could have talked to your father, because I believe we're spirit animals.
Kindred spirits, indeed.
I really do. But to talk to his offspring is the next best thing. So thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing the world to have access to your father, because that's another thing that is sacrifice. Like, all the time he had to be away for the betterment of other people from his children. That's sacrifice. So I want to give you an opportunity to have the last say before we close the show.
Well, I would be remiss, though. We've had this wonderful conversation about my father, but I would be remiss if I did not remind folks again, all of this information can be found at the Amistad Research Center, and they are in desperate need of support, not only for you to come out and visit and enjoy the collection, but to donate money. And so Kathy has she has dedicated herself to raising $1 million. I understand that she's close and she's gonna up the stakes soon. But if you could go to SaveBlackHistory.org, that's a website that she's created for people to donate to the Amistad. They've lost a tremendous amount of funding because the federal government has cut money to anything that they think could be beneficial to people of color across the board. They're over at Tulane, and they're kind enough to house them there, but they do need the community to come in and raise money. So as my father would always ask, what are you going to do about it? You can dig into your pocket, $5, $10, $500, $25,000. We'll take it all. But please donate to the Research Center so that they can continue to do this work for the future activists, the ones like yourself who are coming up now, and 40, 50 years from now. The young people need to know more about the work that you've done.
Well, thank you so much. And it's very few people fascinate me when I'm on the airwaves, and Joe Madison has fascinated me by way of his children. So again, I thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for allowing the world to have access to your father, and thank you for carrying on his legacy and continuing to tell people about him. This is my first time hearing about him, and I'm going to continue to learn more about him. Our show is getting ready to end, but I would be remiss if I did not share with you that qualifying is going on right now. We have one additional day of qualifying. As of the 8:30 mark, we had no additional folk beyond the 38 who had qualified the day prior. But as the qualifiers come in, we'll continue to share it with you. Election day in this city is October 11th. And in the words of Joe Madison, what are you going to do about it? New Orleans is at a precipice, and we have an opportunity to help her craft out her identity. Who is she? Who is she for her people? Y'all got to go to the voting polls and tell us who she is. Y'all stay tuned. Up next for the Front Porch, we're grilling the Kimber. But as far as the Good Morning Show, Dr. Ashanta White, my co-host Will Sutton, and my interns behind the glass, we going to see y'all tomorrow. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
Shout out to Joe Madison, y'all.